back to nighttime gaming. This was a request of one of my first 100 subscribers. The Predator ship. I chose the model from Predators. So let's build it. We start with 2 Thunderbird landing thrusters, with the rear feet anchored to the yellow line of the cross. 2 Habs, the rear Hab level with the back line, replicated forward. We're going to offset build the front Hab forward and up, so it is level with the front circle of our Corvette build area. Replicate 1 down. One thing to note is that I do replace the main 2 functional Habs with Ambassador Class Habs off camera. So go in and change the 2 Titan Class Habs I placed in this video with Ambassador Class Habs now. Alright, now that's done, let's continue. We clip 1 more Hab through the main 2 Habs so we can anchor blades later. We use an Ambassador Class Cockpit. Let's add those blades. We're going to use Arcadia Wing Module. This build, I'm building mostly on the port side and then replicating my work over to the starboard. We anchor that wing to the center clipped Hab, not the 2 that we're going to be using as our main habitation modules. 2 Arcadia Stabilizers, 1 anchored to each of the 2 Habs that we offset built. I'm going to offset build another Hab forward and to the port side to get a horizontal offset build going. We want to overhang one of those stabilizers over the cockpit, but that was just a little too far forward. You have 2 choices. You can move it forward like I did here, move the Rockhopper, replicate your Hab over, and then add the stabilizer, or you could have slid the habitation module straight back and anchored the stabilizer to the front of the Hab. Now we're going to replicate 3 Habs, 2 down, 3 vertical total, and we want to make a underhang for the cockpit. Going straight down is a little too far forward, so what we're going to do is we're going to Rockhopper on the starboard side, the bottom modules back by 1/2 step. It does want to clip inside the ship to other habitation modules, so be careful of that. You want it anchored to the horizontal offset habitation modules and move both horizontal offsets back by 1/2 step. Replicate your stabilizers. It's easiest to do both sides at this point. Then remove your horizontal offset Habs and look from the top. That's the alignment you want your bottom stabilizers to have. Just past the tip of the cockpit. Starting to replicate our work on the starboard side as we complete the nose of the ship. Adding Speedbird Nacelles. This is to give the ship that beautiful, streamlined, sleek, and deadly look. I have to say that this was one of the most challenging builds I've done. Being able to get the rounded, sleek look in the Corvette system is quite tricky when you're not using any mods. We want that Speedbird Nacelle to clip through the Arcadia Stabilizer, so we Rockhop the Hab forward and move just like that. Just helps it clip in a little bit. Replicate your work over. These top level modules are anchored on top of the very first 2 vertical offset built Habs. So it is still a fully functional Hab on the underside of those modules. We're going to do some more offset building, getting Arcadia Blades. We move this Hab to be in line with the front two vertically offset halves that we started in the front. And they're clipping through the Arcadia wing module. This is all to keep a streamlined teardrop look that the Predator ship has. So we're just going to move down, make sure it's mirrored vertically, up and down. You can put a Speedbird Nacelle, but I prefer putting another Arcadia Blade, top and bottom, clip through like that. We're going to add Firebox Cowling. This is going to be inset half into each other, 3 back, and this is anchored on top of the inset line there. So it will be clipping into your top deck of functional Habs just at the back there, but that's fine. We're going to be using that as a trophy room. Before we start stripping out the clipped Habs, we want to replicate the wing module. So you grab this first, bring it over, adjust your camera angles to make sure you get it right. Now we'll add the Arcadia blades. Right, rotate to the front, clip through, flip vertically, and place. And that's basically the nose finished. Let's move on. We're going to need to add another Hab here because we can't get the alignment of these Arcadia blades through the wing module that we're looking for. So go up, grab a Hab, and that's the alignment you're looking for. If it doesn't snap to where you want it exactly, go from the underside or strip out the Firebox Cowlings. That's the bottom deck of what we have. We're going to strip out unnecessary Habs and clean up the interior of our build so it can be usable. We add one walkway to the bottom deck of our 2 vertical stacked Habs and an Ambassador landing bay right on the end, like that. This is a very dense build, so take your time and really work to slow things down. If you need to, go back and check. I add more Firebox Cowling just to fill up any holes. That's what the ship looks like before engines. Speaking of engines, let's add some. We add one Titan Class Hab, or any Hab that you want, level with the top of the Firebox Cowling. Should snap to it fairly easily. One more down vertically, directly stacked underneath. We're going to add Ambassador Sublight thrusters to the side. It should be level. You can see my reference ship that I built back there. Quick cut, just removed the Habs. Now we're going to add in another Hab, level with the top. We're going to offset build this forward and to the right. So you anchor your streamlined trim to the very front and then jump it so it's anchored to the back side square. Then replicate back to the side. I'm going to rotate the camera here. That's the alignment you want with your engine. We are going to add fuel pod covers. You can have it clipped just through like that, or you can go 1/2 step forward. That is an entirely up to you choice. I'm going to demonstrate that here. Forward or back works, whichever drives you the least crazy. I prefer having the fuel pod covers half set forward so they really smooth out the blunt edge of that engine. To give a streamlined end look, I use 2 Vesper Diffusers anchored like so. So that's the 2 halves are level with each other and they just naturally clip. To get things to work on the bottom side, to get a replicatable pattern, just copy your halves directly underneath. You're going to need to rock hop this forward one more time, re-anchor the bottom hab, replicate the engine cover, fuel pod cover on the bottom side. It's a very dense ship. Clipping points can get a little annoying, but once you have 2 vertical stacked, you can replicate the whole thing horizontally like that. And that is one of my secret tricks for all of my builds. I build half and then mirror it. Replicate a Vesper Diffuser. I'm going to do this vertically so you get a better camera angle here. There, that's one. Okay, another one underneath. Alright, so now one side's finished. We'll go over, remove these modules we don't need, and copy everything over. Replicate these parts here, flip it vertically and horizontally as you need. That's the finished engine that you're looking for. Very smooth, very sleek, very streamlined. I use one more Vesper Diffuser with the narrow end pointing out, smooth end pointing forward to create the anchor point. Main 2 engines complete. On and build the other side. To get that successfully built, what I do is I strip out the top left corner of my finished side. I grab halves and I work to get the good anchor points so I can replicate them over to the port side. Anchor it to the offset that I had before for this engine and just walk the halves across the ship the other side. Sometimes it's hard to see. You'll need to strip out a part and come back in. But before we do that, we need to get the correct angle and anchoring for the engine. It anchors a lot lower than you think. That's the alignment front to back that you want. And it is 1 hab down vertically from the top of your Firebox Cowling. So once you place the hab, I would double check that it fits where it did. Replicate the hab up one more time. Cross 2. Down 2. So once you created the U, had that hab in place, replicate your engine, and save the work of re-offsetting. So the back of your Ambassador engines should be level with the center line of the build platform. Now we're going across the ship one more time. 4 across and down. If it's going to clip into your model too much, just go a little higher, then build across. These don't have to be Titan class. They can be Thunderbird or Ambassador, whatever you have enough halves of. Replicate our engine fuel pod covers. See, I messed up there. Didn't build properly. So, the solution, start again. There's a good alignment. Replicate. And down 1. All right, now remove them. And I found that that's the secret with Corvette building. It's not about not messing up. It's about finding your way back once you have. Replicate one more down. Now we have the fuel pod covers done. We can do all of these. Clear our workspace. Replace the Vesper Diffuser on this engine, so that's complete before we forget. Add that in. Move these forward. Replicate one back. Realize that's not what I wanted. And fix it. That's too far back. That's where the Rockhopper is extremely useful. You're just not getting the alignment you needed. The Rockhopper will see you home. So now we have one half of this engine finished. Just check for any stray parts that may have gotten placed by accident. Move the excess and copy your work on the other side of the engine. Remember, that's 4 Vesper Diffusers per side and 2 fuel pod covers on the front. So that would make a total of 4 fuel pod covers for each engine and 8 Vesper Diffusers per engine, plus the 2 that we use to anchor it. So that's the 2 main engines. And you want them, as you see in the reference images here. Now we're going to build this up. We're going to add those 2 little rear winglet engines. Offset build up and to the right. And up and back. Replicate forward. And 1 out. Delete the central 2 lines. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab the Arcadia Sublight thruster, and we're going to anchor it to these outside Habs so that the wings crisscross each other on the inside or central line of the ship. That's good for now. Now we're going to move these Habs back. The central line. What I'm trying to do is anchor it between the 2 engines. Up. And grab more Vesper Diffusers. There we go. Directly in between. Vertical. And anchor it so it clips over the wing and the engine. Replicate, flip vertical, and place over top. Place and remove these Habs, back Habs, and we're going to need to add a little bit more on the bottom to anchor them in. So I'll try a few things here. Ducting outlet's too short. So there's a few options we can work with here. or a walkway. Something that we can build off of. Anchored, like so. We're looking for that half horizontal offset. Build a nod to something on the inside. Just rotating around, looking for that half offset. There we go. That's the half offset I'm looking for. Let's grab some Vesper Diffusers. Want this forward a little bit more. Like so. That should be good. Yep. It's connected the top engine modules to the ship, so we're good to go. Here's a 360 Flyaround. The ship really comes alive once you paint it black. Don't want them to see you coming. There you see a clean line all the way to the front of the ship. The last thing you're going to need to finalize your Corvette is to add a reactor and a weapons system. You see me realize that here. To add a reactor, I personally choose to use the Azimuth class reactor. I like it because it adds the auto recharge and reduces launch cost by 20%. I mount it just at the front of the ship underneath the highest point of the dome. There. Next, we just add any cannon you want right behind the reactor. I personally chose Photon Canon array. It's cheap, easy to get. Right there. I personally love the Azimuth reactor. Having that auto launch saves you a module slot that you can use for an S-class engine, shield, or weapon module. Here's a last little detail I almost cut out, but I felt that it could use another Firebox Cowling half set into this top one, just to give it a little bit more finish. Set like that, won't be able to get in. So what I did was I went in, grabbed a Hab, and just anchored it anywhere that I wanted, just like that. I grabbed a streamline trim or any of those parts from that decoration segment, set it up and back, 1/2 step, that. Replicate it up one, remove, get a duplicate Firebox Cowling, and place it like that. This will overhang the top cowling by 1/2 length. There you go. That's the exterior. No Predator ship is complete without a trophy room. So let's build it. These are the Ambassador Class Habs that I placed off camera. Try as I might, I'm unable to find a way to change the interior of these Ambassador class to anything other than bright white, which is unfortunate. To make your trophy stands, you want to grab these wall lights that you can buy from the decoration vendor in your base or in the anomaly. I'm going to place 2 per wall segment. Have them overlap like so, or as you see later in the video, leave a space in the middle. Just go through, place them on the walls. Sometimes they don't really want to rotate, and they're just being, I don't know, jerks. So we place 4 of these wall lights along each side, so that's a total of 8 displays. And now as you watch this riveting footage of me rotating wall lights, now's as good a time as any to remind you, like, subscribe, and share these videos. Then I personally like to grab the Titanic trophy, the monstrous trophy, the mounted mandibles, place each head one part per light. These also have trouble rotating. Just go slow and easy and you will get it. I like this one, prized exoskeleton. That was a good hunt. You can also use the fossils that you can find on any planet marked with ancient fossils. The only issue I have found with them is that they tend to clip back in through the wall light. So finding skulls and such with horns is more advisable. And I ran into this really weird graphical glitch where the model of the skeleton is actually replaced by that tiny little black pixel you see right there. I have no idea why it did that. Maybe you can let me know down in the comments. And since there's such an issue with these, I just place these on the ground. I can sort of tell where they're going by looking at where the spotlight is and just keeping a close eye on that little box of annoyance. What I'm doing is I'm cycling through to rotate on the x-axis. I don't want the tail to clip through the floor above and make the unit unwalkable. So that's how you can use two display cases to create a gigantic one spinal column display. These fossil parts make excellent decoration pieces for a Predator ship, and they're really easy to find. Land on a planet that has ancient fossils, find a deposit, go and open them up. That easy. I placed this display case, but I found that it actually causes a lot of issues on the top deck, so I don't actually recommend placing one of these fossil displays in your ship. It makes it nearly impossible to get around on the top deck. So I'm going to cut now to the top deck. So as you can see, I have a little bit of clipping here from some of the decorations. And I'm trying to walk forward. And it's the fossil display, an invisible wall clipping through the ship. Just don't use those displays. Goodbye, display. Now we can walk all the way forward. Now I recommend only having two displays on the top deck and having them only in the back of the ship, because you do want to have access to your refinery unit and mission radar. You need to know where the hunts are, right? You know what trophy we haven't added yet? We need to add a construct skull. So that's in decorations. And one other thing that you can do with these models is you can size them up. Bigger the trophy, bigger the glory. Don't forget to toggle free placement on. Size it up. Change your rotation axis. There we go. Now there's a trophy. So, final one. Let's see, what do I like? Good skulls. Try some wings. More flippers. But they just mount weird, which I don't like. So I will add, let me see. Move those. What have I not used? Yeah. Let's add a monstrous trophy again. This one was bigger. There you go. There's a trophy. And there's your Predator ship. Get out there and hunt. See you in the stars, travelers.